hundreds of children in our community experience what are known as ACEs, or Adverse Childhood Experiences. Now, these were first identified in a Centers for Disease Control Kaiser Permanente study back in the 1990s. These traumatic events impact early brain and neurological development and thus impact health for the rest of these kids' lives. With us today to give us greater insight on ACEs is Dr. Raul Pino from the Florida Department of Health in Orange County. This seems to be a trend in healthcare that we're not taking a more holistic look at not just what happens to the physical body, but emotions as well, which is a good thing. So can you give us an example of what an adverse childhood experience might be?
So going through a traumatic divorce as a child is an adverse event. Child abuse and neglect can be an adverse event. And other experiences in general that are hurting the brain, and the experiences how the individual perceives the environment and how safe or well or cared for the individuals feel in that environment.
So if children go through those kind of traumatic experiences, we're talking about what could be a lifelong impact on their school success. What are some of the things that we should look for?
So interesting. Not only that, but also there has been now established a correlation between the childhood events and chronic disease and obesity and opioid overdose.
So if a child goes through a traumatic event, they're more likely to be obese,
They are more likely to
abuse
have
drugs, or have chronic disease?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Why is it taking us so long to get this figured out?
Because I think that we have separated our body from our minds, and it's one. And the same way that you cannot ask no one will think, let me ask a sick liver to have good health. How can we ask a sick brain to have good thoughts? How can we have good behaviors when the brain has been damaged?
So how do we know? Are there things that as a healthcare professional that you look for, signs that give you a clue?
So people, there are scales online that people can take.
Okay.
And you can see how you score. It has a score. And more than 5 indicates a greater chance of having adverse effects later in life. But the good thing also is that knowing what the issues are will allow you to work and modify the outcomes.
And not keep this going generation after generation because we don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. Oh, because we don't want to change the way that we do things. Not because were raised this way is the right way to raise.
So what's new on the horizon? I mean, this is such good news that we're taking an holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit, if you will. What's the next step?
The next step, I think, is to bring all these to primary care and to have it at the disposal of our community, and also to have as many people engage in primary care so that they can receive the benefits of prevention.
And then this generational, some people call it a generational curse, or this has always been a part of what's happened in my family. That doesn't have to be true.
No, it doesn't. And parenting is a key element of our education, our future, our health, and educating parents and be prepared to be a parent is also a critical part.
That's something we're not trained for. We're trained for a job, we're trained how to do our careers, but when these little people show up, it's kind of on-the-job training.
And 50% of all pregnancies in the United States are not planned. So pregnancy should be planned when possible, so that you are prepared to receive that child.
And it's okay to ask for help.
It is okay
We
to
have
ask
to
for
get
help.
rid of the stigma that that's a problem. Dr. Pino, thank you.
Thank you.
Adverse childhood experiences have a tremendous impact on future success and lifelong health. Working together, we can prevent adverse childhood experiences by fostering safe, nurturing relationships and environments where every child can thrive. And wouldn't that be a great thing? Thanks for joining us.